When a foreigner, Spanish, French, German, or Chinese, or maybe Italian, speak English, this English has a strong national accent. This is not my case. I do not speak English at all. You have before you, as a fine mill speaker, an inventor, unique in his field. An inventor is not a discoverer. A discoverer is someone who removes the veil which hides that which exists. An inventor, by contrast, is someone who creates from nothing something new. In fact, I have created a new language. I am the sole speaker of this language. But a miracle can happen. Speaking that unique language, I will be perhaps able to be understood by some of you. My name is Mario Patrono. I am a Virgo. I am a professor of law. More precisely, I am a professor of comparative constitutional law. I also study and teach European Union law for the good reason that the EU law in Europe as well as in the United Kingdom is now the last frontier of constitutional law. My career has developed mostly at the Padua and Rome universities. Padua. I arrived at Padua as a full professor in 1978. First in the Faculty of Political Sciences and later in the Faculty of Law. The Padua University is the most ancient Italian university, 1212, soon after Bologna, 1088. The stories of these two universities mirror those of Oxford and Cambridge at a similar time. This is a photograph of the theater of the ancient theater of the Faculty of Medicine of the University of Padua. The University of Padua was founded following the secession of a group of students and professors of Bologna who considered the cost of living in Bologna to be too high. From Padua originate Titus Livius, the famous historian of ancient Rome. Galileo Galilei taught astronomy at Padua University for many years. Galileo's lectern still exists at the central building of the university. When I arrived at Padua, the terrorism of the Brigate Rosse, which, like the Rotary Army faction in Germany in the same period, murdered in the period 1974-1981 several hundred people, mostly judges, but also politicians, civil servants, and policemen. The main operative bases of the Brigate Rosse were located in Genoa, northwest of Italy, Milan, north central, and Padua, northeast. A political group, very large and active, operated in Padua University. They were called Autonomia Operaia, workers' autonomy. The Brigate Rosse was the clandestine and armed faction to which Autonomia Operaia provided broad support. The group had a reference point in the bad teacher, so-called bad teacher, Antonio Negri, a professor of the Faculty of Political Sciences, who later, with Mitchell Head, wrote the famous book, quite famous book, Empire 2000, which has been notorious. At the end of March 1979, Antonio Negri and I met on the street. He said, one day or another, we must have lunch together. In April, he was arrested. I am still waiting for lunch. few months after my arrival, 3 events of various importance to me occurred. First, in the classroom during my first lecture, sat in the back row a teeny young woman with black and brilliant eyes. That young woman, Antonella, is now my wife of many, many years. We have 3 children, Alessandra, Massimo, and Elena. Second, in 1979, I became director of the law department of the university, which joined all professors of faculties of law, political science, and commerce. I maintained that position about 10 years. Third, one night, more than 100 bombs of minor strength exploded simultaneously in various locations of the city. 2 of the bombs were within the university, one inside of Central Building and another at the Faculty of Political Science. That night, the president of the university and the dean of the Faculty of Political Sciences resigned. A few days later, my colleagues gave me task of negotiating with the students of Autonomia Operaia so that we might avoid further attack. It was a very difficult time because I was in close contact with real urban guerrillas. It was, however, a very interesting period of time as I come to learn much about mechanisms of these revolutionary moments. I am not entitled to say whether I performed my task well or not. What it is certain, though, it is that my colleagues from the time hold me in high regard to this day, as young people can testify. The High Commission for Judiciary, in July 1990, by a solution made by both houses of Parliament acting together, I was elected as a member of Higher Commission for the Judiciary, having 841 votes of the 970 members present at the Parliament. Two-thirds of the members of the High Commission are drawn from and elected by all the judges of the country, about 7,000. The remaining third is elected by Parliament and are generally professor of law or lawyer with at least 20 years of experience at the bar. The tasks of the Commission are essentially to manage the judges' career, promotion, transfers, and so on, and to ensure that the judicial and political world remain separate. Within the Commission is a small body of 7 people who check on the behavior and conduct of the judges. I was also there. The most serious crime that can be committed by a judge is corruption. But there are many other kinds of more or less bad behavior. A strange example, a judge on Milan court, having unsuccessfully searched for parking inside and outside of the court, went home and called his assistant to attach to the door of his office the following message: because no parking, the hearing will be postponed indefinitely. A very storm adventure began in 1992. The judiciary leapt into action with the largest anti-corruption operation ever undertaken in a democratic nation. The operation was called Manipulite Clean Hands. In a short time, the political leadership of the country was decimated. Large parties like Democrazia Cristiana, similar to the German Christian Democrats, and the Socialist Party, a party 10 years old and with 15 of the popular vote, similar to the Labour parties of United Kingdom and New Zealand, were demolished in a few months. nothing more than hips or rubber. The Commission received the information from various courts and prosecutors and became the center of Italian political life. We had the television crew at all of our meetings. I gave with the primary task of the Manipuliti operation the eradication of corruption from our country, which was also, in my view, a necessary step on the road to European integration. But I was not in agreement with the means used, which were sometimes brutal. I wrote many times to the newspaper that the use of criminal penalties alone cannot defeat corruption in public life, and that the demolition of political parties can create a dangerous vacuum of power. In fact, in that vacuum, at the general election in May 1994, burst into the Italian political arena the populists that represent the extreme periphery of democracy. And now the corruption is more serious than ever. When I came out for the last time from the Commission in a very warm day of July 1994, it seems to me that the world, my world, was completely changed. It was not longer the Italian Communist Party, the bigger and stronger political party of Western Europe. Historical parties like the Democrazia Cristiana and the Socialist Party had disappeared. All political leadership was changing. I touched briefly my own body to see if I, at least, was still there. University of Rome. The first University of Rome, La Sapienza, accepted me amongst its professors, starting at the Faculty of Law, and later on loan at the Faculty of Political Sciences, with me, Professor of Comparative Constitutional Law. In 1996, the remainder of the Socialist Party honored me presenting my candidacy in the election for the National Parliament in Rome district. I received 41,000 votes that were, however, not sufficient to win the seat. I returned to my work at university, which is the place that I love the most in my life, where it is possible to study in the silence of the library, where it is possible to read in the eyes of young people their dreams, and where it's possible to believe that one remains young. Aotearoa, New Zealand. We needed to have a break from the daily routine. My wife had no job at that time. The children, 13, 10, and 8 years old, needed to learn English. I needed to finish a book. We decided to spend my sabbatical here in an English-speaking country. We decided to experience a different way of life. We came to New Zealand, the most faraway country from Italy. What is called New Zealand is two things in one. Aotearoa is one. It is the nature, a land of unique light, big thunderstorms, several rainbows intertwined, a land of violent contradiction. New Zealand is the second. It is social and political organization, a style of life. We fell in love with both. This is my 7th visit to New Zealand. My English is still poor, but my love for New Zealand remains. This time, thanks to John Trevor, I am giving some seminars at the law faculty about European Union law. Thanks you all for accepting me as a temporary member of the Rotary Club of Wellington, New Zealand. It is for me a great honor and a pleasure. Thanks to the President for giving me an opportunity.